Today we're going to be talking about how to do a coolant flush and fill and bleed on a 2013 Ford Focus. This is really going to be a very similar sort of procedure if you've had to do coolant or any cooling system work before. You're doing a radiator, you're changing any hoses that may have popped, you're going to be going through this. For me, it was a coolant bypass hose that went kaput. It leaked out all my coolant. I had to substitute it in place with some water that I found from a neighboring house to get it home. So anyway, right now, engine is not overheating, but there's a weird mix of residual coolant and water. So today we're going to be doing a full-on flush and bleed, and we're going to be we don't need a lot of tools for it. We're just going to jack the car up. We're going to get underneath, remove the splash guards, there's two, and afterwards drain our radiator. There's a nice little valve for that. We're going to open up the expansion tank so there's no vacuum within the lines. It can just drain out nice and quickly. There are some alternative approaches. I've seen some people use an air compressor to push out any residual coolant within the radiator. We're not going to be doing that because I don't have an air compressor. And when I did my research, I found out that could be a little bit less than desirable, especially if the car is older and some of your hoses are brittle or frail, which guilty. That burst of pressure could end up causing more problems and solutions. So we're going to do and then afterwards we're going to fill it up. She takes, if I believe ChatGPT, almost 6 liters, 5.7. Anyway, let's jump into it and hopefully we can do this all without a mess. That's the goal. I'm optimistic. Let's see. Absolutely make sure you have your emergency brake up. We're going to be lifting up the front end to get to the splash guards, so we want our rear wheels locked up for safety. First thing we want to do is pop off the first splash shield. You're going to have 5 bolts. So you have one here, and 3 on the back, and then you pull it out at yourself. It slips right out. It's a Torx bit 25, I believe, to get it out, and there'll be one more splash guard. This one right here. We're going to have a few bolts on either side and we need to take off similarly. Alright, so it's the T27 for the first splash guard key. Same T27 for the second splash shield. Okay, see a couple of screws around where the wheel wells are, and we got one more of these. It is right here. Yeah, well, if you're anything like me and you have zip ties in places where they weren't originally, you don't have a knife to pop them off, you just do this, twist it up with a screwdriver or whatever you have, and pop it off. All right, around the front wheel well, we have a couple of screws. All right, here we have a clip. Okay. If we're looking at the radiator right over here, what is supposed to be a screw to release the drain. It looks like mine is broken off. That's awesome. So if we have that sort of problem, something we can do alternatively is just definitely going to be messier as we pop off a bottom radiator hose. One thing you can do, if you have some kind of old hose or a new hose, I have one for a vacuum line. You can jimmy it onto the nozzle here on the bottom, and this red bit is supposed to be we're going to unscrew. I don't see really anywhere to. So ideally this is where you would want to be draining. And the hose to it, drain it out through the hose. Mine is stripped, my petcock. I don't know who had a fight with it previously, but fighting it further is only going to lead to me probably cracking and then the whole radiator goes. So alternatively, if you do have to drain from somewhere else, and there's arguably one advantage to it, you get a bit more out than a petcock, would be the lower coolant hose. And that kind of comes with this pivot here. And we would want to just pop this off. What I recommend, because coolant will go shooting out, try to position maybe some kind of platform if you want these traditional catch cans. Expect that it will be messy. Don't get it in your mouth, the coolant. It will be sweet. It's toxic, so don't get fooled into that. All right, good. So even with the clamp on, I can see if I wiggle the hose, I can rotate it side to side. These hoses are old, they're kicked on. Last thing I'm gonna do is fight with it and have any sharp jerks when you're pulling it off. This is already gonna be fairly messy. So we wanna see how much of that we can avoid getting on us. All right, I got the clamp out of the way. Mostly water. A little trick. We're draining now good, but if you want to get more, you get your hand on the other hose and you just kind of massage it, pumping it. Make sure when you seat the hose, you go back and forth as you push it in. You'll feel it eventually seat in. There's like a little groove on it. So if the ring gets tight in some areas, I found again just a flathead on the edge of the ring and just pushing it in like that helps get it over. There's like the rib part of the nipple, it gets a little tight. Anyway, afterwards you just want to get it, the clamp over where it was previously. Assume you may need to take this off again, so leave the clip in a favorable position. And that's it. All right, now with this guy closed up, all we have to do is start filling the car up and bringing it up to temp. Let's go matching up. Orange, also a lot of these, they come just telling you for what brand it is. I got the Ford one. They're already pre-diluted. Back in the old days, you used to just get a concentrate and you would have to already yourself split it 50-50 with water. Ooh, yeah, I feel like I'm gonna make a mess. And I'll show you this one more time. We just want to start filling until we see you get into the top of the fill or the max location, which for me is right here, a little bit above where the seam is. All right, and just under max. And I can see it gulping it down, so I just want to fill up as I go. Seeing air bubbles coming up in the expansion tank. I don't know if you can hear it gargling. All right, it seems to have stopped guzzling. Next, I want to run the car, let it get up to temp, and see where the level goes to. All right, she is up at just regular operating temp right now. I'm checking all around, making sure nothing's leaking. The level went down below min a little bit, just added. Same way, just want to keep maintaining it. I'm not seeing any more bubbles coming up, but now that it's at temperature, the thermostat opens up, the coolant should circulate. That's why we saw that bit of a dip. I'm going to shut her off. I'm going to let her cool down. And I'm going to see if my level goes down at all. Right now, I just want to park between min and max. Not a big difference, but still just one in between there. And if I see a drop at all again this morning, let's just cool down. For any reason, I'll add. Having the two of these things came in handy, because definitely need way more than one. And I still have plenty enough in case I need to add in. And that's about it. That's how we do a coolant flush. So whether you just have to do a coolant flush because you did a radiator, or you're fixing the coolant return hose, this guy, that's what was my problem. This is how you drain out all your old coolant, add a new one, make sure it's level, bleed it out. So in the car also, we have the heater running on low with maximum heat. We're going to want to check that that runs well. And that's how we know if the system has been fully bled of any air. So anyway, I hope you guys found this helpful. Stay safe on the road.